The Sudanese army has claimed a significant victory in the battle for Khartoum. On March 21, 2025, government forces retook the presidential palace from the grip of the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. This symbolic heart of Sudan, a nation ravaged by 2 years of brutal civil war, once again flies the flag of the Sudanese armed forces. The palace, a grand edifice overlooking the confluence of the Blue and White Nile rivers, has been a silent witness to the tumultuous power struggles that have plagued Sudan for decades. Its recapture, while strategically important, resonates deeply as a symbolic triumph for the Sudanese army. This victory marks a turning point in the conflict. It signifies a potential shift in momentum, offering a glimmer of hope for a nation yearning for peace. However, the fight is far from over. The RSF, though pushed back, remain a potent threat, their forces still entrenched in strategic locations within the capital. The recapture of the presidential palace is a powerful message to the RSF and their leader, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, better known as Hemedti. The presidential palace, once a symbol of Sudanese power and authority, now stands as a testament to the destructive force of war. Reports indicate that the palace has suffered significant damage during the fighting. Its elegant facade is marred by bullet holes and scorch marks, its once pristine gardens trampled and littered with debris. Despite its battered state, the palace's symbolic value remains undiminished. Its recapture is a blow to the RSF's morale, a visible reminder of their weakening grip on the capital. For the Sudanese army, it represents a tangible sign of progress, bolstering their determination to drive the RSF from Khartoum. However, the victory celebrations were tragically cut short. In a brazen counterattack, the RSF launched drone strikes targeting the palace, killing 2 journalists, a driver, and 2 military media officials. This act underscores the volatile nature of the conflict and the RSF's willingness to target civilians and non-combatants. The palace, once a beacon of hope for a unified Sudan, now stands as a grim reminder of the human cost of this brutal conflict. The fall of the presidential palace has forced the RSF into a strategic retreat. Their forces, once a dominant presence in Khartoum, are now reportedly withdrawing southward. This move raises questions about their current objectives and the future course of the conflict. Is this a calculated withdrawal, a strategic maneuver to regroup and consolidate their forces, or is it a desperate flight, a sign that the RSF is losing its grip on the capital? The RSF's main escape route lies across the Jebel Aulia Dam, a vital piece of infrastructure spanning the Nile River. This dam, already damaged by previous fighting, is a point of great vulnerability. The Sudanese army has previously bombed the bridge, aware of its strategic importance. If the dam were to suffer further damage, it could lead to catastrophic flooding, engulfing vast areas of Khartoum and exacerbating the already dire humanitarian crisis. The RSF's retreat, whether strategic or desperate, offers a window of opportunity for the Sudanese army. It allows them to consolidate their hold on the capital and potentially cut off the RSF's supply lines. Khartoum, once a vibrant metropolis, now bears the deep scars of a protracted and brutal civil war. Large swaths of the city lie in ruins, transformed into a desolate landscape of rubble and debris. Buildings once bustling with life are now abandoned, their facades pockmarked by bullets and blackened by fire. The city's once bustling streets, filled with the sounds of commerce and laughter, are now eerily quiet. Deserted and strewn with the wreckage of war, they stand as a testament to the human cost of this conflict. The air, once thick with the aroma of spices and coffee, now carries the acrid stench of smoke and decay. The city's population, once estimated at 8 million, has dwindled to a mere 2 million. Many residents, fearing for their lives, have fled to safer havens, seeking refuge in displacement camps or neighboring countries. Khartoum, once a symbol of Sudan's potential, now stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of conflict. Section 5. The human cost. Civilians caught in the crossfire. As the battle for Khartoum rages on, it is the civilian population that bears the brunt of the suffering. Trapped in the crossfire, they face unimaginable hardship, their lives upended by violence, displacement and fear. Basic necessities like food, water and medical care are scarce, and the threat of disease looms large in the overcrowded and unsanitary conditions of displacement camps. Those who remain in the city are at constant risk. Reports of looting, extortion, and violence perpetrated by both sides are rampant. Civilians, caught in the middle of a conflict they did not choose, are forced to navigate a dangerous and uncertain landscape, their lives hanging precariously in the balance. Even in areas recaptured by the Sudanese army, the situation remains precarious. Civilians are often subjected to suspicion and scrutiny, accused of harboring sympathies for the RSF. Section 6. A Nation Divided. The Genesis of Sudan's Civil War. To understand the current crisis in Sudan, one must delve into the complex historical factors that have shaped the nation's trajectory. Sudan's history is one of political instability, ethnic tensions, and power struggles, all of which culminated in the outbreak of civil war in April 2023. The current conflict is rooted in a power struggle between two powerful generals: General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the head of the Sudanese armed forces, and General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hemeti, the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. These two men, once united in their ambition to seize power in the 2021 coup, soon found themselves on opposing sides of a bitter rivalry. The RSF, a paramilitary force with roots in the Janjaweed militias accused of atrocities in Darfur, grew in power and influence under Hemeti's leadership. This alarmed the Sudanese army, which saw the RSF as a threat to its dominance. The tensions between the two forces finally erupted into open warfare in April 2023, plunging Sudan into chaos. Section 7. Shifting Sands of Power, the Evolving Battlefield. The battlefield in Sudan is not confined to the streets of Khartoum. It extends far beyond the capital, encompassing vast swaths of the country and drawing in a complex web of actors, both domestic and foreign. The conflict's early days saw the RSF, bolstered by foreign sponsors like the United Arab Emirates and the Wagner Group, a Russian private military company, gain a significant advantage. However, the tide began to turn in September 2024, when the Sudanese army launched a strategic counteroffensive. This counteroffensive, supported by a change in tactics and an influx of weapons and supplies, allowed the army to regain lost ground and push back against the RSF. The recapture of the presidential palace is a testament to the Sudanese army's growing strength and its determination to retake control of the capital. However, the RSF remains a potent force, capable of waging an asymmetric war and exploiting the country's vast and porous borders. The conflict's trajectory is further complicated by the involvement of foreign powers, each pursuing its own strategic interests. Section 8. A Glimmer of Hope. The Uncertain Future of Sudan. The recapture of the presidential palace, while a significant victory for the Sudanese army, is but a single chapter in the ongoing saga of Sudan's civil war. The conflict's trajectory remains uncertain, the path to peace fraught with obstacles and potential pitfalls. The RSF, despite its recent setback, remains a potent force, capable of regrouping and launching counteroffensives. The conflict's complex web of actors, both domestic and foreign, adds further layers of complexity and uncertainty. The humanitarian crisis, already dire, continues to worsen with each passing day. Millions of Sudanese are displaced, their lives upended by violence, hunger, and disease. The international community's response, though commendable, has been insufficient to address the scale of the crisis. Despite the bleak outlook, there is a glimmer of hope. The Sudanese people, though battered and bruised by years of conflict, have not given up on peace. Grassroots movements led by women and youth are working tirelessly to bridge divides, promote dialogue, and advocate for a peaceful resolution. The international community must seize this opportunity to support these efforts to amplify the voices of peace and work towards a negotiated settlement.